Today on the Shade Room, we will be discussing affirmative action and whether or not it should be available to high achieving groups such as Asian Americans and other minorities in education.
Well, higher achieving to me are clearly the groups that are not considered minorities. You know, I believe that white Americans are higher achieving. They're excellent in succeeding in this economy and this society.
Well, affirmative action was an outcome of the 1960s civil rights movement. It was intended to provide equal opportunities of education for members of minority groups, and it was referred to as a policy that provided equal access to education for groups that have been historically excluded or underrepresented.
As Malcolm X, my only reason for being for affirmative action is the fulfillment of the black community.
Well, my question is, how you know if a group is high achieving because of affirmative action, or they're already high achieving before affirmative action?
Well, how about you just get off your ass and do something then? My people worked for what we had. I was poor. Wasn't raised with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Well, the white man makes it impossible for me to go get a job.
I feel as though the white man is the enemy because you, as a slave advocate, advocate for slavery, you want people to be submissive.
Yes.
But as a black community, we have to come together. We can't let them see us fight in the streets, fight each other in the streets. We have to appear as if we're unified because that's what they want to see us fail.
Well, unification can be in slavery as well.
Explain your reasoning.
For slavery?
Why are you an advocate for slavery? You
I
want
just-
people to be submissive.
No,
you
I
feel
just
as though
believe
we
in
will
a hierarchy.
you feel as though we will excel by
Yeah.
being submissive. We'll never get anywhere by answering to massa.
Well, there's a totem pole and you guys are just low. You guys are on the bottom. So are Asian Americans.
I feel as though we built this country though. Our
Okay.
ancestors shed our blood out there in those fields.
Yeah.
My father was lynched. Your point.
My point is, slaves make the world go around.
Well, I mean, as Ajinkia stated on American Progress website, to divide rich from poor, white from non-white, black from brown, and so on gives them time, and I'm sure they'd even divide the tall from the short. But when it comes to diversity in education, the age-old strategy of depicting Asian Americans as vehemently opposed to programs that expand opportunity to all racial groups. Like, I mean, you can't just say that if we still did slavery, we would excel and all that kind of stuff, because we wouldn't. Because the blacks, I can say they made this country, but, you know,
No, we did.
well, they did, compared to what y'all did before they got here.
I blame the government. The government has failed the Negro. And by the way, the future of affirmative action in education is in jeopardy. Some states have banned consideration of race and gender, resulting in institutions with the greatest capacity of minority acceptance not being able to accept them. So the issue with affirmative action is they aren't fulfilling their original purpose, and they aren't helping those that really need it.
Well, if you were to read my book that I wrote, Failure of Free Society, it explains why we should have slaves and why slavery is so detrimental to our country, to our economy. You know, it's a necessity for everyone to stay in their places.
But if it's so detrimental to our economy, how come we're still not doing it today?
What, slavery?
Yeah.
And how come the civil rights movement of 1964 progressed, but it also brought on more racism? Why is it that
Donald Trump. The fuck?
I mean,
when it comes down to the 14th Amendment, where all citizens are entitled to be equal under law, That's what I'm fighting for. That's what I want. I feel like if the existing laws haven't been enforced, by the way, affirmative action isn't a law, but if the existing laws, which are the 14th Amendment and the Civil Rights Act, if that was enforced, how will additional laws be enforced?
Are you talking to me? Well, what was the question you just asked me? Because all I could think about was white America.
See, here's the problem. They don't know what they're talking about. Simple fact of the matter is, the white man is the enemy. That's it.
Yeah, but if all racial minorities, like, if they don't support this, if we all come together, like, if they don't support this, though, the argument goes to how could it possibly be a good thing, you know? Critics of diversity in higher education want and need us to believe that expanded opportunities for some can only be achieved by stealing it from others. It is a zero-sum game that couldn't be farther from the truth.
I mean, some call it stealing. You never heard of it's better to give than receive?
Affirmative action acknowledges the continued impact that racism and institutionalized discrimination have played on educational opportunity and access. It also seeks to fix this by forcing diverse and inclusive learning environments to achieve a more equitable and just society.
Well, on Breitbart.com, I have no reason but to support affirmative action because it assumes that minority students are incapable